If you want to learn how to stream multiple cameras while transmitting the live output to local monitors for a live audience, watch this video. Here's an overview of the streaming requirements. I was first asked if I could provide a live feed to 2 TVs, each in a separate room at least 100 feet away. Streaming to YouTube wasn't a requirement, but I offered it since I've become more confident with the Webcaster X2. 2 cameras to switch between shots, show the content from the laptop, lower thirds titles to show who's speaking, and wireless mic to capture the audio. Let's dive into the details. Live feed to 2 rooms. This one was a puzzle for me since I haven't done this before. I only had 2 50-foot SDI cables and 1 HDMI transmitter. I took the program feed from my ATEM and connected 2 50-foot SDI cables that I joined together and ran them through the first TV. Be sure to expand the description for links to the products I used. On that end of the first TV, I connected to a decimator SDI to HDMI converter. I then took the HDMI output and split it into 2. One that went to the TV, and the other that went to the JTEC HDMI transmitter in the other room, which was about 100 feet or so away. I've been really impressed with how solid the connection was. Here's an overview of the floor plan of the Kohl Mansion. I was situated in the back of the main hall where I was facing the presenter, and on the presenter's right was a TV. And then in the other room, that's where I ran the SDI cable to the TV over there, which also had a splitter that then transmitted the HDMI signal to the other room where the reception was. If you want to see a latency test, please subscribe to this channel since I have that as an upcoming video. Streaming to YouTube. This was the first time the school was doing a live stream, so we tested the connection of the Webcaster X2 a few days before. The Webcaster X2 has been solid for me for a few gigs where I streamed over 3 hours with no problems. While I was on site, I had a dedicated Ethernet line that connected to my wireless router and my ATEM flight case. My Webcaster X2 was connected to my wireless router via Wi-Fi. Here's a test from my laptop, which was also connected to my router via Wi-Fi. The Webcaster was set to stream at 1080p at a bitrate of 4000. Although they had a guest network, it was bandwidth limited because of the number of guests that would connect to it. This setup guaranteed at least the 10 megabits per second upload required for a solid stream. For the 2 cameras, I used a Sony PXW-Z90 and a PTZ Camera. The Sony can record in 4K and only output in 1080 in SDI in either 24p or 60p. If you want 4K, you have to use the HDMI port. Since my global settings were set to 1080 29.97p, I had to use the decimator to match the frame rate. One thing I learned is that when recording in 4K, the built-in screen goes blank when the SDI output is being used. That's why I had to use a video assist. The lane control was essential since I'm controlling the Sony with one hand. This allowed me to pan, tilt, and zoom pretty smoothly. I recorded the audio with the built-in mic so I can sync the audio that I recorded from the house mixer in post. For the PTZ camera, I connected it to my router with Ethernet and wirelessly controlled it with my iPad using the PTZ Optics camera control app. I really liked how easy it was to set up the scenes that can be instantly recalled. My third source of video would be the laptop. I wasn't sure how I wanted to route it in, so I considered these options. First, wireless HDMI, which required an HDMI splitter, one to go to the monitor for the audience, and another to go to the ATEM switcher via wireless HDMI. With the laptop connected to the ATEM via HDMI, I can use the 3 remaining options. A web screen share using a web service like WebEx or Zoom, AirPlay using the Reflector 3 app, and then for me to mimic the navigation on the laptop. Since we weren't able to test the first three, and we were just showing the website, I decided to connect my laptop directly to my switcher and copy what was being shown. The titles for the speakers were straightforward. I initially used a Photoshop plugin to export directly into the ATEM, but since I already knew who the speakers were, I exported them as PNG files and dragged and dropped them into the ATEM switcher software as needed. I then assigned them to the downstream one so that it will overlay with the video regardless of which camera was live. For audio, I used a Sennheiser G3 to get the mic audio directly into my XR12 mixer. I've dialed in a 200 millisecond stereo delay so that it will sync with my video. Be sure to check the description to see how I did that in detail. Another option would have been to use the XLR input of my Sony, but I wanted to record the onboard audio for post-production. I then recorded the audio from the house mixer with a Zoom H6. I hope this video helps you kind of plan your event using the ATEM switcher. I plan on posting more ATEM related videos on this channel, so please subscribe so you can get the latest updates. If you have any questions, please post and I'll do my best to answer. Thanks for watching.